Hey, what's up, everybody? Alf here. And one of the biggest remaining questions about Seattle Go Fest is what exactly is downtown Seattle? I don't have that information until now. So today we're going to talk about that range, and I'm going to give you some of my favorite places to play in the city. All right, I have confirmation from Niantic about the range that constitutes downtown Seattle for the city play experience. As you may know, your Go Fest here in Seattle will be split into time into the Seattle Center Park, as well as playing in downtown Seattle. Now, depending on what was defined as downtown Seattle, that experience could be vastly different. The good news that I have for you is that downtown Seattle is a very poor descriptor of the area that is included. In fact, you could play as far north as Everett or as far south as Tacoma and still get the city play experience. Needless to say, I don't recommend going to either of those places, but what it means is that anywhere in the Seattle city limits, you're going to be able to get the full Go Fest play experience. So where should you play then? What I'm going to do in this video is just go ahead and give you the 5 best places, in my opinion, as a Seattle local to play the game. Now, as one big sort of caveat, if you simply wander out of the Go Fest Park and wander around downtown Seattle, you're going to have a good time. Downtown Seattle is very stop dense, spawn dense. There's going to be a lot of people playing in that area. You don't really need to do anything other than that. But I figured it might be nice to give you some ideas of places that you could really sort of enjoy the city or enjoy a different look because you have this option. So my first recommendation is South Lake Union. South Lake Union is a short walk east of Seattle Center. You should be able to easily get there in the 1 hour downtime between the two events if you're doing morning or vice versa. It's a lovely place to play. The area around the lake itself, which features the Museum of History and Industry, is a lovely sort of area to wander around. And as you wander south into the city, there's a bunch of great bars and restaurants to go there. I'm also going to add a recommendation in each of these places to eat. And in South Lake Union, I highly recommend Hurry Curry of Tokyo. They do Japanese curry. It's well priced, very filling. It's a great place to eat. That area is very densely populated with stops and spawns. You'll have no issue wandering around. It's a little sterile is what I would describe it. It's much of it is new development. I do really prefer the area down around the lake though, as I think it's a little bit more scenic and a little bit more enjoyable to spend time in. My second recommendation is similar in that you can easily access it by walking from the park. Simply walk west out of the park until you hit the Puget Sound and then stroll down the Seattle waterfront. That would take you from Centennial Park all the way down Alaskan Way towards where the stadiums are. That area is one of the best places to play when it comes to spawn density. That waterfront is very, very good. It's also very scenic. The northern part of that is a lovely long park, including a sculpture park. It's a great sort of stroll. And then further down, you get into the Seattle waterfront area with the piers and restaurants. That's where the Seattle Ferris wheel is, though I don't really recommend stopping there. It's a really, really lovely place to play, and it is a very easy sort of route to take along the way. You'll walk by the market as well, although it's uphill, so you'd have to figure that part out. Downsides, the whole area is kind of under construction. Some stuff is not open. Some areas are a little less accessible than they used to be. Your mileage may vary depending on what is open and what is not given that window. That said, I still think it's probably worth, and it's probably more optimal than, say, walking down First Avenue, which is a decent idea, but it won't be quite as scenic. If you are going to do that, highly recommend stopping off for lunch at Ivar's Acres of Clams on Pier 54. Ivar's is a local sort of seafood, fast food seafood staple. Get fried fish, fried clams, that sort of stuff. It's a great time, good price, and something that is extremely distinctly Seattle. If you want to get away from Seattle Center a little bit more, and this is where I'm personally going to play because it's my home turf, it's Capitol Hill. Capitol Hill is east of Seattle Center. It's a quick bus ride away. You can take a direct bus line from the Seattle Center into Capitol Hill. Capitol Hill is sort of the nightlife, food and drink hub for downtown Seattle. It's where a lot of us live and a lot of us play. The area is lively. There's a ton of food, restaurant, and bar options there, as well as a really good density of spawns and stops. It's a great place to play. If you are going to make your way up there, I recommend playing either in the Seattle University campus, which is on the south side of Capitol Hill, or up and down along Broadway Avenue, which runs the entire length of it, although the best places to play on that tend to be on the north side of Capitol Hill. Now, you're probably, if you're a local, wondering why I haven't mentioned the Pike Pine corridor, which is where sort of most of the bars and restaurants are, or a lot of them. It's because the big downside to Capitol Hill is that there is a large event occurring. Capitol Hill Block Party happens the same weekend as Go Fest. It's a 3-day music festival. It's going to shut down about 3 square blocks of the neighborhood. It should be easily avoided, and much of it is gated and will only sort of impact the businesses there. But it is a little bit of a deterrent when it comes to sort of spending time in that area. I don't think it should stop you if you want to get up there and get away. If you plan to or desire beers and drinks after Go Fest, it's going to be the neighborhood you're going to want to be in anyway. If you're stopping for lunch, either Hot Mama's Pizza, which is on the way up the hill for a pesto slice, or either of the 2 Carmelo's Tacos locations on Capitol Hill are excellent places to grab lunch and highly recommended. The next recommendation is a bit more of an ambitious one if you don't have a vehicle, but it is still a relatively easy 1 bus line away. It just will take 35 to 40 minutes, and that's Green Lake Park. I think, generally speaking, if you ask Seattleites where the best place to play in the Seattle area is, they're going to say Green Lake Park. It's about a mile-long loop around a beautiful urban lake just sort of north of the downtown area. It's great spawns, great stops, and it's just beautiful. It's a walk that you're going to enjoy. The downside, again, it's kind of far away, considering that you've only got that hour to get there. So it's a pretty ambitious choice. But I do think that if you are playing later in the day or you have access to a vehicle, Green Lake is probably one of the best places you could choose to play the event, both from just an enjoyment standpoint and from a sort of optimization standpoint. If you do decide to go there, the best recommendation I've got for you is Beth's Cafe. Beth's is legendary in the Seattle scene. They do Greasy Spoon American diner food. You may have heard of them because they do an absolutely insane 12-egg omelet that you should probably not try and eat, but I'm not your mom. Do what you want. But the area is lovely, and I highly recommend getting out there. Even if it's not on your Go Fest day, it's worth visiting. Last but not least, again, we're talking pretty ambitious, is the University District, where the University of Washington is located. That area is conveniently located on the light rail, but the light rail doesn't run to Seattle Center, so you would have to do some work there. I do think that the University of Washington, the University District, which is the neighborhood nearby, as well as University Village, which is a shopping center nearby, are all fabulous places to play. I would argue that University Village may be one of the best places in the city to play when it comes to just stop and spawn density in a narrow, small area. Doing loops around there with lures up is probably going to be, if not the best place in the city to play, very, very top tier. Now, it is nicer than your average shopping center. It's outdoors. It is definitely what I would describe as upscale. And there's a number of very, very famous Seattle fooderies and drink places that have outposts there. They've sort of tried their best to make it a real tourist attraction. If you do go, I highly recommend you find the Rachel's Ginger Beer, and inside you'll find Mano, which is a Hawaiian fried chicken sandwich shop. Get one of those. Get yourself a Rachel's Ginger Beer, and you're doing it right. If you decide to play in the University District proper, Thai Tom is some of the best Thai food in the city, but one caveat, it's small and it's cash only. So make sure that you're prepared to handle that. Ultimately, I hope these recommendations are helpful for you. Seattle's a great place to play Pokemon Go. You're not going to go wrong by simply enjoying downtown Seattle. I hope you enjoy. Thank you all for watching, and see you in Seattle.